So you would think that this would be the slowest time of the year for baseball news. However, the general managers meetings are taking place right now in Vegas. And buddy, the hot stove is hot.
It's cooking.
It's cooking. All sorts of talks coming out of Vegas right now. So we figured we'd take a few minutes here and talk about some of the stuff people are tweeting. I'm Scott Belfort, joined as always by the best co-host in the biz, Adam Mack. Welcome everybody to the walk-off. Let's get into it. Oh, before we do that, if you are watching, by the way, hit subscribe. It's great. We're almost at 3,500 subscribers. We're pushing close there. Help tip us over the edge. It would be appreciated.
We're aiming for 5,000 by opening day. I think we can do it. It's going to be a busy off season. We're going to be busy. Let's get to it. I know for the last year, we've been talking catchers. Something needs to be done there. We can't keep carrying 3 catchers. This is not a practical long-term solution. It's official. They're on the market, Scott.
Which is really a surprise to none of us. We all were aware that this is an area of strength for the Blue Jays. And it's not even so much. It's funny because friend of the show, Craig Ballard, has even come on and said he's fine with carrying 3 catchers. And we've heard that a few times. But when you've got 3 high quality guys like Danny Jansen, Alejandro Kirk, and one of the top prospects in all of baseball, Gabriel Moreno, I think you need to give these guys an opportunity to play. There's just not the playing time for 3 guys without getting super creative, which I'm not saying the Jays can't do. But it does look like, according to most opposing managers or general managers at these meetings, it has been said several times that this is something the Blue Jays are shopping.
It's official now. We've got a tweet here from Ben Nicholson-Smith. I'll pull up. He touches on the Ross Stripling stuff, which we'll get to in a couple minutes here. But according to Ben Nicholson-Smith, Jays have also had trade interest in their catchers and relievers, per Ross Atkins. Possible Jays make a move, but they don't plan to force anything. So key takeaway for me there, don't plan to force anything. Of course, we don't make a trade just for the sake of making a trade. But they're listening.
That's also the most Ross Atkins sentence I've heard in a long time. Look, we won't force anything. We're not going to force it.
Well, with that in mind, there is a tweet here from Josh Goldberg, says most likely Blue Jays catcher to be dealt in order. Number 1, Danny Jansen. Number 2, Gabriel Moreno. Number 3, Alejandro Kirk. Agree or disagree? How do you feel about that, Scott?
That is interesting. If you are watching, I'd love to hear what you think. I honestly kind of flipped that entire.
Me too, man. Me too.
And I
want
to preface this.
Want to be dealt, right? I know that's where you're
I love
going
how we
with
have to
this.
do this every single time.
I know.
We love Kirk. We really
love
do.
Alejandro Kirk. Yes.
There's a few reasons why, and we've said it before, that there's a few reasons why I put Alejandro Kirk as the guy who I would be shopping most feverishly. And it is because he has the most value. He's 23 years old. He's under control for years to come. He was an all-star. He had an OPS plus of, off the top of my head, I don't even remember, but it was something ridiculous, like 135 or something like that. You know, like the guy was a stalwart when it came to the offensive side of the game. He was one of the top hitting catchers in all of baseball. There's some real tangible value to that. Also, he was plugging up the DH spot a lot because they needed a place to get his bat into the lineup, which on a lot of teams isn't a big deal. But on this Toronto Blue Jays team, you know who else gums up a lot of playing time at DH? Our $150 million dude, George Springer.
George Springer, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, there's a real appeal from other teams. If I'm another team calling, he's probably the one I value the most. Danny Jansen, closer to free agency, so more team control with Alejandro Kirk. Younger. The upside with the bat is there for obvious reasons. And with Gabriel Moreno, the upside's there too, but it's not as proven. And by not as proven, I mean kind of not really at all.
Not really at all.
He's played, 20 games in the big leagues? Looked
And
good.
people talk about it all the time, right? You never know with a prospect.
No.
I mean, until they actually put up the numbers and prove that they are, a top guy,
Yeah.
it's all hearsay.
Yeah,
And I want to touch on, before we move on really quick,
Please.
Danny Jansen, I really value because of his experience. The dude has come in with this core. He was one of the first guys to make his MLB appearance and debut with this Jays core, right? Back in 2018, he was one of the first call-ups of this group that we're now watching and rooting on. And we talk about all the time experience. You can't microwave experience, right? You can't speed that up. You got to put the time in. And Danny's now 5 years into running a starting staff, dealing with the relationships of the pitchers, all this stuff that goes behind the scene. Go ahead here, Adam.
With Alek Manoah, obviously, famously this year, Alejandro Kirk was his guy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a factor in any of this? Should Ross Atkins consider like Alek Manoah's preferences behind the plate when it comes to which guy should he move, which guy should he hold on to?
I think you give Danny Jansen 2 months with Alek Manoah and he won't even know Kirk was gone. Like, I mean, these are big league guys. I'm not diminishing what Kirk's doing for Manoah behind the plate. I think their relationship is great and they know each other really well and know each other's tendencies. And of course, there's something to be said for battery mates, right? I mean, we just watched Waino and Yadi in St. Louis break records, and there's absolutely something to be said for knowing the guy that you're pitching to. But I don't think Manoah is what has ever gotten in that kid's way.
No, I agree with you too. And I only asked the question because I've seen it discussed other places. For me, it's a non-factor. Like, I'm glad he gets along with Alejandro Kirk.
It's fantastic.
They're cute. They're best buds. Good luck with Houston. I wish you all the best in St. Louis, Alejandro.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. But I don't know. Like you said, let us know in the comments how far off base we are with this. I know there's a lot of love for Alejandro Kirk.
What I love about this question, Adam, is that really there is no wrong answer, right? Like, whoever the catcher is, they decide to move. There's going to be a portion of the fan base that is upset and questioning it, and all of these guys have values in different areas and are all very sought after dudes on the open market.
It's going to potentially be a trade, no matter, like you said, no matter who we trade, it's going to be a trade that potentially haunts us 10 years from now when we're watching Alejandro Kirk be a 10-time All-Star. It is what it is. It could
potentially be a trade where we look back and go, that was one of the reasons why we're hanging another World Series banner.
This is true. All right. Let's move on now. Pivot to this before we get out of here. Ross Stripling could be back with the Blue Jays. Again, as Ben Nicholson-Smith, friend of the show, reports, Blue Jays have been in touch with Ross Stripling and expressed interest in bringing him back.
As they should.
This doesn't even feel like news.
I mean, I hope that they have been communicating with his agent since the beginning to middle of last season, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say Ross Stripling has earned some term and he's earned some money. And I think we're going to see how much that is. But my guess is somewhere between the 3 to 4 years, $30 to $50 million range. I don't know. I think the Steven Matz deal in St. Louis is comparable that his agent will probably point to, right? Which was, I think, 4 years, 44, something like that. So if the Blue Jays can be the team to commit to him, I think that's a fantastic first step here for addressing several holes in this starting rotation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overspend on Ross Stripling. Maybe I do. I don't know.
I don't know either. That's a tough one too. And again, you watching, let us know what you think. Like, it's just that we know Ross Stripling. I know what he gives.
And this is where the next tweet comes in. Okay, so this comes from Mike Baboa. So breaking: Blue Jays engaging in serious talks with left-handed pitcher Andrew Heaney. Heaney is a project with big payoff potential for the Blue Jays, a team who showed interest in Heaney a year ago. Expect more details to come this Thursday. If that's who we're looking at, and for me, this is where I'm like, yeah, let's just overspend for Ross Stripling. Because
Well, what I like about this, okay, the Baboa bomb, right? And I mean, Mike Baboa gets some right. I don't think that there's zero behind this. Andrew Heaney was the first starting pitcher to sign last year in free agency. Some of you might remember he was the first shoe to drop, if you will, back 1 year ago today, exactly, November 8th. So
how excited does this make you?
If they're going after Mike Heaney, or Andrew
Anchor.
Heaney, if they're going after Andrew Heaney, I hope that is one of several moves, right? Like, I still hope they get Ross Stripling if that's the case. I'd like to see another starting pitcher. Like, if you're going with Ross Stripling, Andrew Heaney, Mitch White, Yusei Kikuchi, all battling for those last two spots in the rotation, I mean, that's not ideal, but it's a lot better than what they were dealing with at the end of the year with Yusei Kikuchi in there, right?
So we're talking about a rotation with Manoah, Gossman,
Barrios,
Heaney, Kikuchi,
Mitch White. I mean, Ross Stripling, let's give him a little bit of credit here. He pitched 135 innings to a 3.02 ERA.
Right.
Like,
I'm acting under the pretenses that he's gone in this situation, and Heaney is instead. Right.
I mean, if Heaney's the only guy bringing in, yeah, of course I'm furious. That's not at all what I'm saying. I think it's a good start. Left-handed pitcher.
But if it's both,
high K rate.
What if we re-sign Stripling? We give him 4 years, $45 million, whatever the numbers may be, right?
Yes.
So now we've got Barrios, Manoah, Gossman, Stripling, and Heaney.
And Mitch White and Yusei Kikuchi.
So you have 7 starters. That's it. Like, I don't
finish pushing things. Hopefully,
yes, I know,
I just mean, what I'm saying is let's raise the floor a little.
Do you think there's room for Andrew Heaney and still to go get another big guy?
I would hope so. Andrew Heaney is, like, my guess, he had an injury-marred season this year. He did pitch all right with the Dodgers. I think he had like a 3.10 ERA, 70 innings. He struggled staying healthy.
30 games last year with an ERA of 5.8.
Yes. So this is the thing with Blue Jays fans is if Jose Barrios made you pull your hair out with his inconsistency, Andrew Heaney definitely has the potential to do the exact same thing. He's 31 years old. I always advocate the fact that once you're 30,
we know who you are. 9 seasons in the bigs, we know who you are.
Like, you look at the back of the baseball card, and that's who you are in most cases, right?
I'm not excited for Andrew Heaney. If we bring back Stripling, we've got Barrios and Heaney as our number 4 or 5. That doesn't leave any room for adding another guy. I would much rather go out and get a number 3. Have Stripling come back as our number 4. And then have our $160 million Jose Barrios be our overpaid number 5.
Maybe it's all about depth this time. I don't know, dude.
Maybe they're going to prioritize bullpen. I don't know. I mean, this is just an underwhelming news statement for me. It's a little bit frustrating.
It is. It's also the first day of the GM meetings, and who knows how much validity there is.
I want Verlander today. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm with you.
All right. Let us know your thoughts on Andrew Heaney. Is this the first? Is this just getting the ball rolling, or is this?
I just really want to reiterate, Adam, that I am not advocating for Andrew Heaney. All I am saying is if he is...
You said trade Alejandro Kirk for nothing. Give me Andrew Heaney all day. You're crazy, man. I can't handle you.
Okay.
All right.
Well, this is how this video is for sure going to be portrayed. All right. Did we have any other starting pitching catching news to get to here?
Anthony Bass looks like he's going to be back.
Right. He did, which everyone knew they were going to pick up his option. That's $3 million. Ben Nicholson-Smith tweeted that out as well. So things are happening. The Ducks are lining up here. We'll see how things roll out.
All right. Let us know your thoughts. Subscribe if you're new here, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.